Please leave a message after the tone.
Hello, my name is Adam Sandler, and welcome to So Sandler's, the Sandman Movie Podcast. A gabagoo.
Hello and welcome to Big Stan.It, the Stan-Man Movie Podcast, a podcast where we discuss the movies of Adam Sandler.
Nice. That's the funniest part of this movie. We've made the best joke about this movie right there.
Oh, my name is Kerry Jones, and as always, I am joined by my dearest friend and co-host, Matt Wollstonehome.
Great to be back this week. But, well, we'll see how we go this week, won't we?
Yeah. Hopefully this is a quick one.
This is going to be
This movie was an hour 48.
This movie felt like it was 3 hours long.
Oh,
this is the worst film I've seen in 10 years. This is horrifically bad. Like, this is honestly the worst movie we've watched. I'm no joking. Like, as a movie, it's better. But this movie is literally a rape joke for 2 hours, and that's all it is. Like, the whole comedy of this movie is them making a rape joke for 2 hours, and that's it. This is fucking bollocks. This movie's shit. No one watch it. Fuck 'em. Fuck this movie. I'm sorry that Rob Schneider was in this. The old guy that plays his best mate, unfortunately, it was his last role, so I'm so sorry that this was your last film, but fuck me. No one should ever watch this. Fuck 'em. I'm over. Alright.
I think this is definitely the worst Rob Schneider movie we've watched.
Easily.
It's probably is the worst one we've watched on this podcast.
I've seen this, so I remember I watched this like probably when it came out in like 2008, 2009. Don't remember watching it. Remember it literally just being about Rob Schneider not wanting to be raped in prison. Yeah. Watched it again, that's what the movie was about, except everything that I didn't remember any of it watching it, but like this was honestly hard work. If it wasn't for this podcast, I would have never watched this again.
So what we're doing this week is we're finishing up Taking a Deuce mini-series where we celebrate the movies of Adam Sandler's best friend Rob Schneider. We've done Deuce Bigalow 1 and 2, The Hot Chick, The Animal last week, which was a top tier movie we've seen, and now this piece of shit Big Stan.
We've definitely not ended on a high. We've definitely ended on a low.
Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's just honestly no one wants to hear us talk about this movie for more than an hour.
Here you go.
Arrested.
Stand man, you're under arrest for fraud. Have you reached a verdict?
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty.
What?
Convicted.
Rich. I wanted some of that OJ justice.
Now you got 6 months to set your affairs in order.
What's that supposed to mean?
Little dude like you, be an easy mark. Terrified.
Then you're gonna take advantage of me.
He will train with a master to protect all that is sacred. Overcome the impossible. And become a warrior.
Do you have anything you could tattoo around my sphincter to make it less attractive?
Assume the position.
Who's the toughest guy here in the cell block? Excuse me.
Everyone's hero.
I want to thank you for what you did out there.
One man's army.
I want to join your gang. I don't have a gang.
Nobody's girl.
Look what I made with 3 bars of soap and a shoelace.
Rob Schneider.
There are many things you wanna see coming.
Oh, really? Like what?
Mr. Mitten, is there anything you'd like to add?
That's a nice top you have on. You mind lowering a little bit?
Get him!
Parole denied.
What did I say?
Big Stan.
It's like an alien.
staring into my soul.
Big Stan is a 2007 American prison comedy film starring, produced, and directed by Rob Schneider. In his directorial debut.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The movie also stars Jennifer Morrison, Scott Wilson, Henry Gibson, Richard Kynes, Sally Kirkland, Jackson Rathbone, Emmett Walsh, and David Carradine. So Jennifer Morrison, I know her. House. I know her from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah.
She was Ted's environmental girlfriend.
She is. Oh, what's her name? Oh my god, I've completely forgotten her name. Zoe.
All I know is
Zoe.
Zoe.
Yes.
Yeah. All I know is she's constantly voted like the worst love interest of Ted.
She's definitely the worst. Except the crazy police officer, but yeah.
Oh yeah. And Stella, who left him at the altar. And Robin, who led him on for 20 plus years.
Robin, who, no fault of her own, ruined the ending of that show.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I fucking love How I Met Your Mother and Kobe Smulders, but you can literally not watch the last 5 minutes of that last episode, and it's a much better ending.
You'll be fine.
It's so much better.
Scott Wilson, I know him from The Walking Dead. He was the old guy in. He was the old guy in Walking Dead. He was the warden.
Oh, okay, yeah, yep.
It doesn't matter. And then I don't know anyone else apart from David Carradine.
Yeah,
what's David Carradine from?
David Carradine's Bill from Kill Bill.
There we go.
I don't know Jackson Rathbone. That's the guy from Twilight. He's the
the one with long hair.
The blonde one, yeah, the one that's like most recently a vampire, I think.
I haven't seen Twilight. I went to see the last one with my mother and my sister. And I walked out.
I'd say the first one, Twilight as a movie, if you watched it, you wouldn't feel bad about it. The other 3 or 4, however many there is, you don't need to watch them all. You only need to watch the first one. It's the same movie. And even the first one's dog. It's not made for me. They're not made for me at all. So you know what? Fuck it. If you like Twilight, that's fine. I did go to the cinema and watch all of them, to be fair, though.
Oh, Mike, let's just move on. Moving on to our very first famous segment of this podcast. It's a little segment we like to call Curb That Blurb. So what I've done is I've gone on the deep dark web to find a plot synopsis for this movie, and you've got to tell me whether you want to curb that blurb. And by curb that blurb, I mean if you hate this plot synopsis, we'll take it outside, make it bite the pavement, and kick it in the back of the head.
Nice.
So, a weak conman panics when he learns he's going to prison for fraud. He hires a mysterious martial arts guru who helps transform him into a martial arts expert who can fight off inmates who want to hurt or love him. And by love, they mean rape.
Yes, they do. It is very, very much implied, this whole movie, that that's what's going to happen. No, fuck it, curb it. Everything to do with this movie can get in the bin.
Back of the head. Yeah, kick him back of the head. Fuck it, I hate this movie.
There's no blurb that you could make about this movie that would make me want to watch it. At all. Unless you put, like, fucking... No, because he's not even a good person. Like, his character at the start is a massive cunt. Like...
He's an awful person.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he becomes good at the end, kinda. I found some reviews here as well. Julie Rigg from the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, was highly critical of the rape-based humour and concluded, "I wasted 2 valuable hours of my life on Big Stan. Don't make the same mistake."
That's the best review for this movie. That's all you need.
Writer for the Sydney Morning Herald, Paul Burns, asked if there's been a clumsier, dumber, more casually put together collection of badly timed gags, racial stereotypes, and lazy performances this year. I've yet to see it. How could Schneider be in so many movies over 20 years, over a 20-year career, and learn so little about making a movie?
That's it's kind of fair enough. I'll get with that because Rob Schneider should have known better.
Yeah, and then Brian Orndorff from DVDtalk.com called it the forgettable, unfunny waste of time. He criticizes the unrelenting repetition of rape jokes, but believed that Schneider acted the character's fear of rape convincingly.
I mean, oh, fuck me. If that's your takeaway from this, then fair, but I disagree.
And then I've got some audience reviews as well. I got 5 stars from Soma, and they said, "Move over Shawshank. Big Stan is an experience like no other."
That's true.
This movie is the best movie based in a prison.
That's not true.
I don't even think that. No, we've got better prison-based movies coming up.
Exactly.
And then 1 star from Veronica Desroches. Rob Schneider's 5'3" and he acts like it.
Me a little bit. In this, his character in this does kind of have little man syndrome a little.
Oh, big time. Right, I want to ask you, how did you watch this movie?
As fast as I possibly could. I watched this on times 2.
What services did you use to watch this movie?
Couldn't tell you the name of it.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I watched this movie on... I watched this movie on YouTube.
Really? Oh, I didn't think of that. Fuck's sake.
Somebody has ripped this movie and just put it on YouTube free. Good. It's just there. Type in Big Stan and it's the first.
Fuck's sake. I should have gone for that.
So I was reading through the comments and this one guy says, "It really was a different time in the 90s. The whole joke at the start about blacks loving white women would have gotten them cancelled today. LMAO. But this was an enjoyable comedy with some life lessons to be learned towards the end, though." This movie came out in 2007.
I was going to say, did this guy understand when this came out? Like, what?
But yeah, the full movie's there. All 1 hour, 49 minutes of it.
Alright. For anyone, if you are going to watch this, I don't know why you would. If I can't persuade you not to, don't watch it on YouTube because times 2 is not fast enough. I would have watched this on like times 5 if it was possible. If there was like a streaming service out there that offered that option, I would have watched it then. Because spending almost an hour watching this on double speed is still far too long of time watching this movie. Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Please don't watch it.
I'm sorry, I really don't mean to be this negative to anyone listening, but like, I fucking despise this. Like, it really, not upset me, it really annoyed me. Like, this is just shite.
And then, moving on to Rotten Tomatoes, what percentage do you think the critics give this out of 100?
Jesus, this can't have been good. I have no idea. 20, 30?
11%.
Good. That deserves less than 11, but that's good.
And then the audience score really pissed me off here.
Oh no.
What do you think the audience gave this? God. It's still bad, but it's not as bad as it should
be. If it's over 50, I'll be disappointed.
Oh, no, it's not over 50.
Okay, that's fine. 39?
Of 44% of
still,
audience members like this movie. Yeah.
Far too much.
And then at the box office, this movie had a budget of 7.5 mil, which shows it grossed 8.7 mil at the box office, but it was only released in some countries in the cinema. And then in the USA, it was a direct-to-DVD movie. Then it was number 17 in the rental chart for the week that it came out.
Jesus fucking Christ. So this movie, they attempted to release it overseas, realised that this was good enough for no audience, and then went straight to DVD.
Well, all the reviews have come from Australia, so I think they could have...
They must have been out in cinemas.
I think it was in cinemas in Australia. And then, straight to DVD in the US. I'm going to say that this movie killed Blockbuster.
It's about the right time.
Should we just get into the plot? Because...
Look, I can't imagine that the Wikipedia plot for this is very good, and I can't imagine it's very long. So let's just get done.
Okay. Stan Minton is a wealthy real estate con artist married to Mindy. One day he is found guilty of... Should I just read through it?
Yeah, just literally just read through it.
One day he is found guilty of conning elderly people out of their savings. His lawyer, Mal, defends him at the trial. As Mal refuses to bribe Judge Perry, Stan hires corrupt lawyer Lou as a replacement. Upon being found guilty by the forewoman who Lou slept with and sentenced to 3 years in prison, he's given 6 months by Judge Perry to get his affairs in order. Stan's fears of jailhouse rape strains his marriage to Mindy and leads him to hire the mysterious guru known as the Master, David Carradine, who helps transform him into a martial arts expert.
Right. So that's probably the first half an hour of the movie?
Yeah. So the opening scene, he's conning this old woman into buying a timeshare.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about this scene because it's racist.
It's incredibly poor taste. I watched this and just thought, how is this the opening of the movie?
Yeah.
We don't want to go over it, but essentially Rob Schneider just implies that the black guys that live in the neighborhood he's trying to sell the old woman the apartment are just basically just want to bang white people. That's literally what he says, and that's all we're saying about that.
Yeah, because first she has a fear that it's a bad neighborhood, and then he's like, actually no, they're all just going to want to have sex with you.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm part black myself, and if I didn't have a wife, I'll be all over you.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he gets arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's in the court, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a smug bastard, I'm going to get off for this because I've got money.
Yeah.
And then his first lawyer is played by Richard Kind, and he's just a guy whose face you know.
Yeah, he's just someone you know.
He's in a load of stuff. Blah, and then, he gets sentenced to...
He gets sentenced to like 3 years, and then for some reason the judge... Oh no, he gets sentenced and he's going to jail, and he fucks his lawyer off.
Yeah.
And he sees like a sleazy lawyer, like a Better Call Saul kind of advert on like a park bench, so he calls that guy to bribe the judge, and then he manages to get him like 6 months before prison to sort out a charity that he just made up.
And then in this 6 months, he's preparing himself to go to jail. He goes to like a biker bar.
Yeah.
To try and get stronger and for them to help him with prison life, and it turns out it's a gay biker bar. And then one of the bikers says, oh, you in jail, you might as well strap a welcome mat to your anus and say I'm open for business.
That's pretty much every joke in this movie.
Yeah, and then we've got a little montage of...
There's one more line that guy says. He's kind of like, oh, are you racist? Do you want to join a gang or something? And he's like, no, I'm not racist, I don't want to join a gang. And then he just looks at him and goes, well, it looks like everybody's going to rape you then, doesn't it? And it's just kind of like, what the fuck is going on with this movie?
It's not good.
Because then there's a scene literally like just after where he's talking to his wife like in bed, and then he just like jumps out of bed and makes this proclamation that he's going to make himself unrapeable.
Yeah.
And it's like, did nobody like have... Like, alright, I get it, comedy is subjective, that's fine. Did nobody look around and think, this is a terrible idea? Like, surely someone at the time must have thought, this probably isn't going to go well.
Over the last couple of weeks, I've been, like, on Rob Schneider's Twitter and Instagram just to have a look. I think he's a bad bloke.
Okay.
And I think this movie shows that he's a bad bloke.
I think the fact that he wrote and directed this is not good.
No.
Sorry, he didn't write this. He produced it and directed it.
All his tweets are just saying about how bad Biden is. And then
this is not a political show. We don't lean either way. We're just stating facts.
And then people in the comments like, fuck you, Rob, you're wrong.
Fuck's sake. You never know with people in Hollywood. Like,
I think he's just a bit of a lunatic.
Possibly.
But when he shows up in a movie next week, he's fantastic.
He is fucking incredible the next week. Spoiler alert.
Right. Okay. And then he has this. So and then we've got a montage of him preparing his arse. He uses steroids. Then he's reading a book saying smuggling things up your arse for dummies. Then he goes to a tattoo parlor and is like, "Oh, can you make my arsehole look ugly?"
Yeah, he's like, I want a tattoo that makes my arsehole look unappealing to be raped, which I don't know if that. Yeah, never mind.
And then we get a scene where he gets pegged by his wife.
Yeah,
like,
what is it he says? Sorry, go on.
He's like, "Oh, if I'm gonna get fucked in the ass, I want it to be first time with somebody that I care for and love." and then he's at a karate dojo, and he's got to fight. Right, the person that he fights, was it a kid or was it?
I couldn't tell.
Not.
Don't know. I'm not.
I have no idea.
I guess.
Yeah. So you fight somebody for a green belt and he loses, and then the karate master kicks the shit into him outside in the street. And this is where he runs into the master, and then the master moves in with Stan to train him to fight for prison.
Yeah.
And then more training montages. He's hitting Stan with fire. He's hanging him from his nipples. Shit like that.
It's just, yeah.
Just classic fighting training montage. And then we've got a scene where Stan breaks into his wife's bedroom, well, into their bedroom in the middle of the night. And he's like, there's people who've just broken in. There's like 6 men and they've said they all want to rape you. And then she freaks out and she starts crying. And then he just goes, "See, it's not nice being worried about getting raped."
Fucking hell. He's literally like, this is how I will feel every day for the next 3 years. So you should have some pity for me. Like, fucking hell.
Yeah. And then she leaves him.
Yeah.
And then Stan breaks his finger. Oh, when he does that death punch with a finger with a
yeah. So
he
he tells him. Sorry, David Carradine tells him, "You can learn. There's 5 fingers of death, and I've only got time to teach you one of them." So he learns the middle finger.
And then I've just got a note saying Rob looking good.
There's a scene of him working out, and he actually looks like he's done a little bit of work for the movie.
When he was doing it, bicep curls.
Yeah.
Like, his arms look kind of big here.
He looks like he worked out at least somewhat for this scene.
Yeah. And then, just more training montages, and then the end is he can do this finger of death through the board.
Yeah, so he can basically push, like a punch with his middle finger, but straight through a wooden plank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the 1-inch punch from Kill Bill, but not just with one finger.
And then during his incarceration, Stan befriends an elderly inmate named Larry, who is serving a life sentence for murdering his partner, and learns more about cliques and gangs activities formed inside the prison. And this old guy, he wanks a lot.
This is there's a scene in this, and it's really dark, and he's just like, he's talking about why he's in there, and he's like, I killed my wife, and it's like, oh, and then he just goes, yeah, I'm terrible, it's really bad, I'm like a terrible alcoholic, and it's like, dead seriously, and it's really somber, and it's so weird, it's so out of place.
Yeah.
That threw me.
First of all, he's like, because Rob Schneider's writing letters to his ex-wife, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then the old guy is like, oh, there was this woman, I loved her so much. She was the only woman who loved me for who I was, and she was the love of my life. I just wish things could have been different, and I wish I treated her better. And Rob's like, oh, what did you do to her? And he just goes, oh, I killed her.
Yeah, it's like out of nowhere, and he's just like, I'm not the same person when I'm drinking. And it's like, what the fuck? And then it's back to just being batshit again.
Yep. This old guy wanks a lot.
This is like the same. Within 5 minutes, you hear about him being a serial wanker and him murdering his wife. And oh fuck. Good God.
Stan then uses his newfound skills to bring peace and harmony to the prison yard by intimidating his fellow inmates like Big Raymond into preventing them from harming each other. With this, peace is restored in the prison and Stan gains their respect, eventually becoming their leader. So he just fights a bunch of different people, and then everybody in the prison respects him for who he is.
Yeah, this prison's so weird in this because for a comedy, there's a lot of racial stuff in this.
So much,
like a lot, and it's uncomfortable at points, like quite uncomfortable when you're just like, this is wildly inappropriate for this movie. Yeah, fuck
yeah,
knows.
it's such honestly, it's dreadful.
No.
Oh, I don't like this movie. I don't like talking about it.
No, I don't. I genuinely don't want to talk about this. No one should watch this. It's honestly terrible.
However, the corrupt warden Gask has plans to force closure with a riot and sell off the property as valuable real estate. Stan helps him in the real estate aspects in exchange for early parole. However, his peacemaking efforts threaten the warden's plan for a riot, and he's persuaded to bring back violence.
Yeah, so basically we find out that he gets sent to this specific prison because of his old real estate job. The warden wants to sell the land that the prison is built on, which I didn't know that fucking the warden owned the land in the prison. That's news to me, but
apparently he does.
Yeah, and then he wants to sell it, and his plan to sell it is to basically give all of the inmates loads of weapons, so they start a riot, so that he can then just literally have a mass shooting, and he can just shoot them all, and then they can close the prison. Is literally his plan.
Then, yeah, that's it.
That is literally his plan for the movie, is to shoot the prisoners so that he can sell the prison.
Yeah, because it's got nice views of the city and the sea or whatever. And then I've just got a bunch of notes here. Tell me, so I got nunchuck shower scene. So Stan, he's taking a shower, and one of the Nazis try to shiv him.
Yeah.
And then he just fights him off with nunchucks he's made out of soap and shoelaces.
Yeah. It's weird.
Let's try to do this.
I reckon we can. I reckon we could.
So that means we've got 10 minutes left of this Zoom, so let's try to get it over and done with.
I really want this podcast to be good, and I want our content to be good. And in doing so, us not making a long episode about this movie is the best thing we can do.
Then I've got a note that says Viagra, attacked by mafia.
Yeah, the
sleazy
lawyer just goes up to like the lead juror and just like basically throws four Viagra pills like on the bar next to her and just is like, "You look like Charlize Theron. Let's go and fuck." That's it, right? And then he gets the shit kicked out of him by the Vietnamese mafia.
Yeah, he does. Then the master's fucking Mindy. Then I've got a note that says "rape the rapists."
Yeah, their plan is to.
Oh yeah.
So his plan is to stop all the rape in prison. Good plan. But then they're like, "Oh, what about the rapists and the paedophiles?" It's like, "Can we rape them?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Punishment fits the crime. You can rape the rapists." And then he decides against that. Yeah.
Big Ray's a homosexual, so he asks who you actually wants to get raped. And the only man that puts his hand up is Big Ray.
Yeah. He's just trying to suss out if he's gay or if he's not.
Yeah. And then Big Ray finds a partner who wants to have consensual sex, and then the Nazi shits himself.
Yeah, after he beats him up in the showers, the Nazi just gets they stab him in the arse. I'm pretty sure is what they said.
Yeah. And then I've got a note saying, "Can't rape the rapist. Everyone becomes friends." Stan's wife forgives him. Master taught her loads about sex from the Kama Sutra. And then the warden tells Stan his plan and offers him parole herein if he can get the inmates to start a riot. So, like you said earlier, the plan was to give everybody guns so they shoot each other up so you can close the prison.
Yeah, but his plan was to just give loads of weapons. The guards are going to shoot them. The prison board are going to see it. And they're going to shut the prison. Great.
Yeah. In the last minute attack of consciousness, he deliberately blows his parole hearing to rush back and prevent the death of his fellow inmates, only to discover that his message of peace has snuck in and the prisoners are dancing instead of fighting.
Yeah,
go on.
Nah, get through it.
Warden Gask orders the guards to open fire on the dancing men. When they refuse, he grabs a gun in front of the Board of Governors and shoots wildly. Warden Gask attempts to shoot Stan, but he's stopped by Mindy and the Master, who has snuck in. Stan was surprised that the Master had trained Mindy during his incarceration when he thought they were having an affair during an earlier phone call. So yeah, all these men go out, collect their guns, ready for a riot. Then it looks like they're about to start, and then we just get a big dance number.
Yeah, they all do the mariachi dance that they were trying to learn before.
Yeah, the warden's pissed off, and he tries to shoot everyone. Tries to shoot Stan because Stan ruined everything for it.
Mindy just grabs a rifle and starts firing into a crowd.
Yep. Mindy just kicks him in the head, and he's outdoors.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, Stan leaves the prison where Bullard has been sworn in as new warden. Gask becomes the new inmate following his arrest for his illegal activities, as Big Raymond intimidates him to say goodbye to Stan. There is also an inmate after he has foreseen that he would be arrested for having slept with a member of the jury. Stan is met by his wife, his young daughter Mindy Jr., and the Master outside the prison. While the Master has become Mindy Jr.'s nanny, Stan is annoyed that he has been smoking near her at the end.
Yeah, the end. Fuck him. This, basically, yeah, he gets out of prison, his lawyer gets sent to prison for being a cunt, shitty lawyer, and he's got a kid. He's got a kid, and David Carradine's the nanny.
Right, okay. What we like to do when we talk about movies is we like to talk about our favourite scenes in the movie and call it our cream de la scene. Matt, what was your cream de la scene of this movie?
The closing credits.
Yeah. I think my cream de la scene of this movie was the dance number. I thought that was kind of funny. Another thing we like to do is we like to give the movie we just watched a score out of 10 sandbags. So Matt, how many sandbags out of 10 would you give Big Stan?
Nothing.
Okay.
This literally doesn't deserve anything. I know I gave a different movie a 0, but I wish I could give that movie a 0.5. And this one,
yeah,
0.
You give Going Overboard.
Going Overboard is infinitely better than this. I don't care.
And what kind of flood could your 0 sandbag stop?
The flood of fucking whichever brain fart made Rob Schneider make this movie.
I'm going to give this a movie a 0.3 because I did like the dance number.
Fair.
And my 0.3 sandbags could stop the flood. That's flood of shower water where inmates get frisky.
The only redeeming part of this movie, I think, was David Carradine.
Yeah,
I enjoyed his character, and that was it.
Right, 3 minutes 42 seconds. We can do this. Do you have any pieces of trivia for this movie?
There is nothing more I would like to say about this movie.
I've got.
I'm sorry, I really fucking hated this.
I've got a couple of things here. So this movie was the film debut of Olivia Munn. She was the secretary. Yeah, she was the secretary somewhere, but I can't remember seeing a secretary.
No, I did not know Olivia Munn was in this.
Film debut of Olivia Munn, and then I've got some goofs here. Stan's lawyer informs him there was a last-minute change made by the Bureau of Prisons. The BOP governs federal prisons only, but Stan was sentenced to a state prison, which is governed by the state's agency, known only as Department of Corrections.
Ah, the DOC.
Yeah.
Fuck. The only bit of trivia I have in this is that some of the inmates are played by like UFC, like ex-UFC fighters and boxers and stuff. Like for instance, Randy Couture is in this.
Oh.
Who, for anyone that don't know, is just like 90s, early 2000s ex-UFC heavyweight champion.
Oh, great. It's not the WWE stars we get in The Longest Yard. But...
Not quite, no.
Oh, do you have anything
and
left to
also
say?
Don Fry's in this as the bald guy with the mustache. You know, the one that's on the bus at first, where he's like, he just beats him up on the bus on the way in.
No.
Oh, okay. There's a bald guy with a really thick mustache. He's quite manly looking. That's Don Fry. He's also martial arts man.
Right. Okay. But 1 minute 40 left, so let's just end it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening this week. I'm sorry It's not our fault. Blame Rob Schneider.
Honest, if you don't want to listen to this episode, that's fair enough, because it's not going to be a fun listen. Maybe you want to listen to me fucking having a meltdown. But come back next week for a fucking much better episode.
Follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, at SoSandlersPod. Send us an email at SoSandlersPod@gmail.com. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, 5 stars. Thank you very much. If you leave a nice review, we'll read it out like we did with Nick's last week. Tell your friends, tell your family, grab your grandparents' iPad and just subscribe on... That's what I've done to my grandparents. I take their iPad and just subscribed on everything. It says less than a minute left, so I'm just going to say goodbye now. Bye!
Peace!
Yeah, there's nothing else, is there?
No.
No. Right. Okay.
See you next week for Little Nicky, everybody.
Oh, yeah, Little Nicky, bye!
Me!